Her family kicked her out at 12 for being pregnant. She was sleeping in Thepurk every night until a millionaire arranged everything. The night air was cold, sharper than usual for early spring. City lights shimmered beyond fir trees, but in the quiet center of Thepurk only a few scattered lamps lit Thepeths. On one weathered wooden bench beneath a flickering light a small figure lay, curled tightly, trying to disappear. Her name was Amira. She was 12 years old, and for the past 6 nights this park bench had been her only home. Her belly round and obvious beneath a stretched pink t-shirt rose and fell with uneven breaths. Torn jeans hung loosely on her legs, knees scraped her feet, and battered sneakers with broken laces. Her braids were tangled. Her faced her with tears and dirt. One thin pillow, the only thing she had managed to grab, lay beneath her head. Amir kept her eyes closed, though she wasn't sleeping. Sleep had become a rare luxury since the neither life shattered. Fear and shame gripped her more than hunger. Just 6 days ago, everything had changed when her pregnancy could no longer be hidden. Her family's anger exploded. Her stepfather's voice had thundered through their small apartment. "You disgrace, you will not stay here another night." Her mother, silent and cold, stood by without a word. Amira had begged, tears streaming down her face, "Please, Mama, don't send me away." But her mother only looked away before she could say another word. Her stepfather grabbed her by the arm and dragged her toward the door. On her way out, she had snatched her pillow as if clinging to some tiny piece of comfort. Door slammed shut behind her. Since then, Amira had wandered the streets, too frightened to speak to strangers, too ashamed to go to a shelter. Her tiny frame had carried her to this park each night, back to the same lonely bench, cold concrete below, cold stars above her. Arms wrapped around her belly, the baby kicked amidst gentle reminders that life was still growing inside her. But how could she care for it? How could a 12-year-old child, abandoned by her family, survive on her own each night? Amira cried silently until her pillow, her heart breaking with fear. Across the park, footsteps echoed. A tall man in a dark blue suit walked slowly down the path, hands in his pockets, lost in thought. His name was Alexander King, a millionaire business magnate for ruthless deals and fierce intellect. But tonight, after leaving a charity gala filled with hollow speeches about helping the poor, his heart felt heavy and restless. He often walked through the city late at night. This time something caught his eye, a small figure in a bench. A child. At first he thought it must be another runaway, but as head drew closer, the truth came into focus. A young black girl, very young, pregnant. Talon. In the cold night, his breath caught, his steps slowed. For a long moment he simply watched, his mind spinning. How can this happen? How could Simeon let this child be out here like this? He moved closer, his instincts whirring inside him. Would she be afraid? Could he help? Was it safe to approach? And the girl shifted in her sleep, her fist turning toward him. The shadow shriveled her youth, a swollen belly, her trembling form. He could not walk away. Taking a breath, Alexander stepped toward the bench. His voice was low and gentle. "Young lady, are you all right?" Amira's snapped open, fear filled them. She sat up fast, backing away slightly. "Don't hurt me, please," she cried. Alexander knelt down a few feet away, hands open. "Oh, no one is going to hurt you. I promise you're safe." Her breath came fast, her eyes darted around, but something in his voice calmed her slightly. She stayed where she was, weary, but listening. He asked softly. "Amira," she whispered, "how old are you?" 12. The words struck him like a blow. "And where is your family?" Tears swelled up in her eyes. "They kicked me out because of the baby," she said, her voice breaking. Alexander's heart ached. A pregnant child abandoned by her own family, sleeping in a public park. He swallowed his anger and kept his tone steady. "How long have you been here?" "Almost a week." Amira whispered. He looked at her gently. "Amira, will you trust me? Let me help you. You shouldn't be out here another night." She hesitated. The streets had taught her caution, but his eyes were kind, his voice calm. Slowly her defenses crumbled. She nodded. Alexander rose and extended his hand. "Come with me, you'll be safe now." Her small hand slid into his trembling, and in that moment Alexander made a silent vow. No more nights alone for you, little one, no more fear. He would do whatever it took to protect this girl and her unborn child. This story was only beginning. Galaxter guided Amira carefully toward his car still parked. Just outside Fepper gates, the child clung to his hand, each step hesitant. Her frail body trembled in the night air. As he opened the door for her, he glanced down. "Are you cold?" She nodded. He took off his dark blue jacket and wrapped it gently around her thin shoulders. Her fingers gripped the fabric tightly as though afraid it might vanish. "Where are we going?" she asked in asthma voice. "Somewhere warm," Alexander said softly, "and somewhere safe." He drove through the quiet streets, heartaching at the thought of what this child had endured. A 12-year-old pregnant abandoned. He had never seen anything so cruel. He made a quick call ahead. By that time, they reached one of the finest private hospitals in the city. A trusted doctor he often worked with was waiting. Dr. Jennings, a kind woman in her 50s, met him at the entrance. "She's so young," the doctor whispered. "Her expression pained. Has been sleeping on a park bench for nearly a week," Alexander told her. "I need you to help her, please." They brought Amira inside, settled her in a private room as the nurses gently cleaned her up and gave her food. Alexander sat outside with Dr. Jennings. She's terrified, the doctor said quietly. "I asked about contacting family, but she has none," Alexander replied firmly. "Not after what they did." Jennings nodded grimly. Later that night, when Amira had eaten and warmed, Alexander came to sit by her bedside. "Amira," he said gently, "I know you've been through a lot. If you want to tell me anything, I'm here." She stared at her hands, eyes downcast. For a long time she said nothing. Then, in a small voice, "You won't get mad?" "Never." Alexander promised. "Nothing that happened is your fault." Her lips trembled. She took a shaky breath. "It was me stepbrother." Alexander froze. His hands tightened on the chair arms, but his face stayed calm for her sake. "He was 16, she whispered. "When my mom wasn't home, he would touch him. I didn't know what to do." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "When I told my mom," she said, "I was lying." She said, "I was trying to ruin her marriage." Alexander felt sick to his stomach. "They sent me away," Amira choked out, "and now no. I don't know what will happen to Thebaby." He reached over and gently took her small hand. "Listen to me, I'm Amira." Hesed voice steady. "None of this is your foe. You are brave, you are strong, and from now on, you are not alone. I promise you that." Tears streamed down her face. For the first time in days, she allowed herself to believe it. The following days passed in a blur. Alexander arranged for her full medical care. Despite harsh conditions, was healthy, so was Amira, though deeply malnourished and traumatized through it all. Alexander never left her side. He spoke with lawyers, social workers. Quietly, he began the process of gaining full guardianship. There was no question of returning her to that home. Months passed. Amira grew stronger. With proper care, her cheeks regained color, her eyes, once so hollow, began to brighten, and when the time came, she gave birth to a healthy baby girl. She named her Hope. Alexander was there holding her hand the entire time when she first held her tiny daughter in her arms. She looked up at him through tears. "Thank you," she whispered. "You saved both of us." He smiled gently. "No, Amira, you saved yourself. I just made sure a 3-year-old finally saw how brave you are." With Alexander's help, Amira soon returned to school. Special arrangements were made so she could study while raising her baby. Years later, she would stand proudly at her high school graduation with little Hope in her arms, while Alexander, now her legal guardian and mentor, stood in the crowd smiling with pride. And though life had been cruel to her, one seed had also shown her kindness in the form of one stranger who refused to turn away in the years to come. Whenever asked about her story, Amira would smile softly and say, "Sometimes all it takes is one person to change everything." If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales, and let us know in the comments where in the world are you watching from. We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay curious and keep watching.